Quinn Hughes. He is that guy. At this point, I think it's very clear to anybody who has been watching the Vancouver Canucks play the past few weeks that Quinn Hughes is the best player on the team. MVP, most valuable player, he does it all. And I say all, I mean all the good and all the bad, because man oh man was Quinn Hughes an absolute force as the Vancouver Canucks defeat the Arizona Coyotes 2-1 in a very tight game. It shouldn't have been as tight as it was, but it was. This was yet another one of these performances where the Vancouver Canucks, in terms of their expected goals and their chances and what the opposition was able to do, the Canucks dominated on the expected goal sheet. If you head over to moneypuck.com, you take a look at the deserve to win-o-meter, the Canucks had like a 70-80% chance of deserving to win this game for the majority of the game. But you wouldn't have felt it if you just looked at the score sheet, because this game was 1-0 for a while, it was 1-1 for a while in the third, and then the Vancouver Canucks scored the game winner with just minutes left in that final frame. You talk about a quote-unquote pity win against the Anaheim Ducks a few nights ago. Was this the same against Arizona? Honestly, I don't really know. If you want to say the Canucks are getting goal lead, honestly, I wouldn't necessarily disagree. Connor Ingram for the Arizona Coyotes played very well today. There could have been, I think, 3 or 4 actual goals had the goaltending for Arizona just not been as solid as it was. Could you say the same about the Anaheim Ducks? Maybe. But in this game against the Arizona Coyotes, there was a lingering sense of anxiety. From myself and from a lot of people that were watching this game, Canucks fans, of course, because I follow a lot of Canucks fans on social media. It was one of these things where the Canucks were up 1-0 for a good amount of time, and as they kept on trying to bounce up and capitalize on that lead, they just could not do it. They couldn't. And eventually, after a bunch of penalties, it was 1-1, and at this point, it's like, okay, if the Canucks, who have very clearly outchanced the Coyotes in this game, if they cannot find a way to get another one past Connor Ingram, if they can't find a way to take the 2 points against Arizona, then it opens the door to expanding our conversation as to whether or not this team is actually fraudulent. Not saying that they're not talented, not saying that they don't deserve to be where they are in the standings, not saying that some of these guys who have been producing points as of late have not been doing that, but still, there's a conversion problem with this team that has presented itself as of late. The Canucks have been scoring 3-2-1, 3-2 goals per game the past few weeks, and it's so uncharacteristic compared to what we had seen at the beginning of the year. There were a bunch of analysts tweeting out about how earlier on in the season, the Vancouver Canucks established this pattern where they could just pile on the goals, 3, 4, 5 goals a game, and then they could afford to sit back, relax, and enjoy because, hey, their opposition would have to score a whole bunch in order to get the game tied, and the Canucks would win games by outscoring their opposition in the first half of the game before just kind of settling back and letting the opponents come to them. As the season has gone on, though, the Canucks' ability to convert has sort of subsided in the worst way possible, and you're seeing guys like Elias Pettersson not get as many conversions to go. You're seeing Brock Besser fumble the puck. You're seeing some of these guys not be able to convert on the multitude of chances they have. Teddy Bluger, one-timer on the side of the goal with an open lane, and he fires it off the side of the net. The defense, all their offensive chances, they're shooting it wide, hitting the backboards. Ilya Mikheyev even, on an empty net, he gets fed by Elias Pettersson on a breakaway even, and Mikheyev still fumbles the puck and gives the Arizona Coyotes one more rush to try and tie the game up with 30 seconds left. Like, there has been a very evident conversion problem as of late, and you can say it's the regression from the PDO. Oh, they were shooting at such a high percentage earlier on in the year. This is just the tides of hockey balancing itself out. Everything rounds itself out and evens out as the year goes on, and that's what we're seeing here today. At the end of the day, though, you know, I'm just kind of airing my grievances about this team because they still ended up winning, albeit in a fashion that was way too close for comfort. The Canucks played well, they controlled the play, but when they needed to get those pucks to cross the goal line, they could not. Anyway, let's go out there and actually talk about the game. Arturs Silovs gets the win here. 2-1 is the final decision. The only goal scored on Silovs was a power play marker, tic-tac-toe, out in front for Dylan Guenther on the bumper spot. Very great goal scored by the Arizona Coyotes. You kind of felt it too, especially since it was Dylan Guenther of all people, the first-round pick the Arizona Coyotes selected in 2021. After the Louis Eriksson trade, but the Canucks had themselves their own offense in this one, all coming off of the stick of Quinn Hughes. The Canucks opened this game up with a power play, and they really sucked. Like, my goodness, the early power play for Vancouver in this game, just complete nonsense. They couldn't break it in, they couldn't control it properly, even the second unit couldn't hold it in. Not a great period for Vancouver in the first. The Canucks also were missing the net a lot. Their defense was just not able to get pucks on goal. And the Canucks end off this first period, actually, with their own penalty. It's JT Miller who takes a cross-checking call in the midst of a great offensive shift. Teddy Blueger and Nils Åhman had an odd-man rush shorthanded, but that didn't result in any conversions. In the second period, the Canucks kill off the JT Miller cross-checking penalty, and this is where they start to get a little bit more momentum. Ilya Mikheyev had a really nice drive to the goal that was stopped up by the toe of Ingram. There was an opportunity for Podkolzin to bury the puck loose in the slot after a rebound. And I think at the halfway mark of the game, the shots on goal were like 15-3 for Vancouver. Arizona just did not get things going here, but it's okay because the Canucks were not able to convert on their chances either. Teddy Blueger had that wide open shot with the cross-crease pass on the side that went off the side of the goal. And at the halfway mark of the second, this is where the Canucks get themselves a power play. Josh Brown throws the puck over the glass. Hughes springs Miller for a breakaway, and Miller's shot goes off the glove. But eventually, after a little bit more cycling around, it's Quinn Hughes who takes the long shot, and it gets by Ingram. Beaten out in the 5-hole, great screen in front by Conor Garland. Vancouver has the lead. It's 1-0. And the Canucks, immediately after, have themselves another power play off of a trip by Clayton Keller. The power play's momentum came to an end, though, as a huge hit was laid out on Elias Pettersson by Jack McBain. This is when JT Miller stepped in and fought McBain. So 5 minutes for fighting for both of these guys. The Canucks are not able to convert on the Clayton Keller trip. And the Arizona Coyotes, they start to bounce back a little bit. Arturs Silovs had to make a really good save on Kesselring on a cross crease to end off the second period. But in the third, this is where things started to look a little bit off. The Canucks kind of sucked to start out this third period. They kept on fumbling pucks and not committing to loose pucks in front. There was a lot of miscommunication, I felt, and Arturs Silovs had to bail the Canucks out a few times here at the beginning of the period. Eventually, the Canucks have themselves a penalty. It's Quinn Hughes who gets the hook for taking down Josh Doan. The Canucks kill it off, but then just a few minutes later, Quinn Hughes gets another penalty, this time tripping on Michael Carcone. This is where the Coyotes score their tic-tac-toe power play goal. 9:14 to go, and it's a 1-1 hockey game, in a game where the Canucks were dominating on the expected chances, but not converting on the majority of them. And eventually it's Quinn Hughes, Captain Quinn, who has a Norris Hart caliber shift. Quinn Hughes decides to take over the game by going back and forth and shimmying and shammying and taking his shots and getting the puck back on rebounds in the offensive zone. He goes left, he goes right, and eventually after a few shot attempts and he gets the puck back, he ends up taking one more after shammying to the left. It goes off the end boards out in front, and it's Conor Garland who buries the rebound with 1:51 to go in the third by Connor Ingram. 2-1 hockey game. Quinn Hughes has a goal and an assist to go with his 2 goals from last night. He's taking a lead on Cale Makar, man. That's exactly what he needs. And the Vancouver Canucks hold on to defeat the Coyotes 2-1. You had yourselves Elias Pettersson not get any points on the empty net because he gave it to Mikheyev instead of shooting it himself, but Mikheyev, hands of stone Mikheyev, just fumbles it at the blue line and is not able to convert. This is where I was saying, yeah, the Coyotes are gonna goddamn score. They are. There's no way the hockey gods would allow this to go unscathed, but fortunately they did, so the Canucks end up winning. I'm still concerned about the status of the team, but I cannot deny that this was a very, very good game in terms of their possession and chances. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Canucks defeating the Arizona Coyotes 2-1 in regulation. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.